But as far as football is concerned, the big game tomorrow is the Bells League Cup final, which brings together for the first time ever in a major cup final Dundee and Dundee United. Both managers will delay their team selections until tomorrow morning, until they see how ground conditions are. Today, Dundee United manager Jim McLean told me his big problem will be who to leave out. He said, "If the ground is hard, I will have to play the team I don't want to play. If the going is soft, I'll be happy because whatever happens, we want to put on a good show." Dundee manager Donald Mackay wasn't over-worried about the conditions, although I got the impression from him today that he may prefer if the ground were hard. He said, "We took delivery of a new set of football boots today which are designed to cope with hard surfaces. We want to be prepared. We have played on hard pitches already this season, and that may prove advantageous to us if there's frost tomorrow." So there you have it. The tension has been built up in Dundee over the past week or so, and we'll be hearing from the managers and some of the players in a few minutes. But first, a reminder of what happened when these sides last met in a cup tie. It was in the Scottish Cup at Tannadice last January when United hit their best form. This great solo run by Eamon Bannon left Willie Pettigrew clear to score from 15 yards. Then in the second half, a move started by George Fleming saw Graham Payne chipping the ball neatly into the Dundee goalmouth. It struck Dundee's Ian Redford, and Paul Sturrock was there to score. United's third goal was a real beauty. A corner kick by Payne was knocked out of the Dundee goalmouth, and fullback Frank Coppell moved in smartly to send Pettigrew clear. The striker turned quickly and hit a great shot past Donaldson. Dundee were reduced to 9 men by the time United's fourth goal came along. It saw Pettigrew controlling a Sturrock cross to score very neatly. Then we had the second penalty incident of the match. Dundee fullback Peter Miller brought down Sturrock in the box with this tackle, and Pettigrew accepted the opportunity of getting his fourth goal by converting the spot kick. Towards the end, Dundee got a consolation goal through Billy Perry. Yes, well, obviously a black night for Dundee at a time when they were fighting to avoid relegation. Towards the end of last season, however, they produced one particular result which, to put it mildly, shocked Scottish football to its roots. It was a marvellous performance at Dens Park against Celtic when everything went right on the day.
McLeod head flicking that through to McGarvey. McGeechy going up, Aiken going in. Aiken working a very nice 1-2 and a chance on a glorious goal. Beautiful goal by Aiken, superbly taken. Shearer, long floater. McDonald doesn't get it. Chance with Ferguson and goal. Beautifully taken by Ferguson. Shout by Miller at the edge of the box. Miller brought down by McLean. Penalty. Just coming up to the 26th minute, Ian Ferguson has already scored the first goal for Dundee. And he makes it 2-1. Nice flick to Shedler there from Sinclair. Shedler getting it in deep. Ferguson waiting, McGrain knocks it down. Turned back by Mackey. Fleming, oh, it's a goal! It's a goal, Fleming has scored, it's 3-1. Shearer, back to Shedler. Shedler getting it into the box. Ferguson, the shot, it's a goal! Sinclair makes it 4-1. Ball hanging in the wind, knocked forward to Sinclair. Sinclair coming through, rounding Latchford, chips it out in front, it's in the net, it's a goal, the referee is giving a goal, it's 5-1.
So the scene is set for a memorable occasion at Dens Park tomorrow. Alan Saunders has been looking at the background to the big game and talking to the team managers, some of the players, and to referee Bob Valentine, himself a Dundonian. Here's Alan Saunders' report.
Only 100 yards in the width of Tannadice Street separates Dens and Tannadice football parks. But for countless years now, the arguments have raged over the gap between the two teams, Dundee and United. For a long time, Dundee were the undoubted kings of the city, with 5 major successes behind them. Scottish Cup winners in 1910, Scottish League winners in 1962, and League Cup winners 3 times in 1951, 52 and 73. By comparison, United were the poor relations, with a trophy case devoid of any major honour. That is, until last season. In a drama-packed League Cup final at Dens Park, they hammered Aberdeen to lift their first ever major title. A few months later, Dundee were relegated, and possibly for the first time ever, the Kings had been deposed, and the crown belonged at Tannadice. With Dundee in the First Division, it seemed the dust had settled. But now the old arguments have flared again, with the two teams set for their first ever head-on clash in a major cup final at Dens Park tomorrow. United start favourites, and rightly so. They are the League Cup holders, they are the Premier League side, and they are determined to remain the #1 team.
Well, it's good that you're mentioning that, because it's in some quarters they still don't believe that, but without any shadow of doubt, the last 3 years Dundee United have most certainly been the top club in the city of Dundee. But as far as I'm concerned, the only important factor is that the Premier Division is the status from which at the end of the season you, in my own personal opinion, judge how good you have been. Winning a trophy last year, as far as I'm concerned, and struggling in the league was not good enough. Eventually we got it right, but Dundee, if there is a choice from winning the trophy or being relegated, we most certainly will want to be in the Premier League, but we hope to be in the Premier League and also win the trophy again this year. It was really nice last year.
How much of an advantage do you think it's going to be to you going in here as League Cup holders and the Premier Division side?
I think it's slightly disadvantaged in as much as Dundee are the underdogs and they most certainly have everything to gain and we've everything to lose. But in saying that, as far as I'm concerned, it's absolutely imperative that we give off our best on the day, and I'm sure the players will do that.
What sort of game do you anticipate, Jim? Because the last time you met, it was a very physical game. Do you think it's going to be the same again?
Well, I think it was a physical game from one team, but no way was it physical from Dundee United's point of view. And I'll settle for the same result and the same performance from my own players. I was really proud of every one of them in that match. But that is well behind us now. Only what happens on Saturday is the important factor. Could I just add that there's now a new manager at Dundee, and I don't expect the game to be anywhere near what it was in the last match with Dundee.
Like McLean, Hamish McAlpine, Frank Capel and Paul Hegarty remember only too well the years spent in the shadow of their near neighbours, and they know the pride at stake, especially for the fans.
Honestly, I think once you're out there and the game started, it's just like any other cup final. But beforehand, there's definitely a lot of... Because people you meet in the street will say, well, good luck for Saturday and how do you think the result will go? And for a normal final, or possibly even a league game, you don't get people talking to that extent. So that added pressure is definitely built up with the public. But once the game starts, you know, it's just a normal cup final.
Looking at the game itself, Paul, do you think you are going to have a better chance because you are the League Cup holders and the Premier Division side?
No, not really, no. It's starting off scratch, 0-0, you know. It's going to be a difficult game. Derby games, you know, are always difficult. They're very, very hard at the best of times, so I think it'll be a close game.
What sort of game do you anticipate? Do you think it will be a physical game? Because the last time you met, it was a very hard encounter.
Yes, I think it might be physical, but hopefully there'll be a lot of skill involved as well, because it's a one-off thing that, you know, Dundee and Dundee United have got to a cup final, and I think it's a thing the fans and also the players should savour.
What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like?
Well, for the ground being capacity, the atmosphere will definitely be electric. I'm glad it is actually at Dens, where 24,000 will give a great atmosphere. If 24,000 at Hampden, you wouldn't get an atmosphere at all. And to get in a final, you definitely want an atmosphere for the occasion.
You don't think it's a disadvantage being at Dens?
No, I don't think so. I think most of the boys are really happy that it was, at least in Dundee anyway, you know. We're not really bothered about going to Dens. As if Frank's saying, the ground's going to be packed. We were there last year when Aberdeen played us, and it was a tremendous atmosphere, you know. And win or lose, obviously we won, like, but I think if it lost as well, you could have still said that the atmosphere was tremendous compared to the Saturday before at Hampden, you know. It's going to be chock-a-block, you know. There's still
Bob Valentine. But being a Dundee man, will this be the toughest game he's faced?
I don't think so. I think that once this game starts, I could be refereeing a top game anywhere. I won't have time to think that this is my two hometown teams and that I'm refereeing in my home city. Once the whistle goes for the start of the game, I'll be too absorbed to even think anything other than the game, and
But
I won't be thinking about where it is.
But isn't there going to be more pressure on you being a local man?
I don't see it that way, no. Well, the only pressure I've felt, I would say, is the same pressure that anyone remotely connected with this final has felt, and that is the hunt for tickets. I've been badgered by people looking for tickets who seem to think that the referee gets almost as many as the clubs, and that has really been the only pressure on me.
Now, most cup finals provide controversy. If that happens, how is life going to be for you in the coming weeks? Have you thought of that?
No, because I'm a positive thinker, and I think that there won't be any controversy. Therefore, I haven't given the thought to that.
Well, Frank, you're now obviously looking for a prediction from me. And never being one to hedge my bets, I feel it probably could be Dundee United. After all, they are the Premier Division side and the League Cup holders. But then again, maybe it's going to be Dundee, because after all, they did beat Aberdeen. It can be really tough, you know, having two successful teams in your city.